Hello and welcome. You don't have to do anything right now. You don't have to listen closely. You don't have to follow every word. The story will go on without your help, slow and soft, like rain on a roof. If you drift away in the middle, that's exactly right. That's what this story is for. So settle in. Let the bed hold you. Let your shoulders sink. Let your hands rest wherever they are. And when you're ready, you can close your eyes. Tonight we're going to a small village called Mistwood. It sits in a green valley between low hills beside a slow river. It is an old place. The houses are stone with slate roofs, and the streets are cobbled, and every evening a soft rain falls. Not a storm. Never a storm, just a gentle, patient rain, the kind that makes the whole world feel quieter. And in Mistwood, at the edge of evening, an old man is waking from his afternoon rest. His name is Tomas. He is the lantern keeper. Tomas wakes slowly in his chair by the fire, the way he always does. The fire has burned down to soft orange embers. The room is dim and warm. Outside the window the light is fading, blue and gray, and the rain has already begun. He can hear it on the slate roof above him, a soft, steady sound. Tap, 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 soft and slow. Tomas listens for a while, the way he always does. There is no hurry. There is never any hurry in Mistwood. After a time he rises from his chair. His knees creak a little, and he smiles at that, because they have creaked for many years now, and they always carry him just the same. He crosses the small room with slow steps. The floorboards are smooth and worn beneath his feet. Everything in this cottage is old, and everything is well loved. By the door, his coat is waiting on its hook. It is a heavy wool coat, deep gray, soft with age. He puts it on slowly, one arm, then the other. He winds a scarf around his neck. He pulls on his boots, first the left, then the right, the way he always does. And then he takes down the oil can. The oil can is small and made of brass, and it has gone with him on every round for 40 years. He fills it from the jug in the corner, slowly, carefully, listening to the quiet sound of the oil as it pours. He checks the little box of matches in his pocket. He checks the cloth he uses to wipe the lantern glass. Everything is there. Everything is always there. Tomas opens the door, and the evening air comes in to meet him, cool and clean and smelling of rain. He stands in the doorway for a moment, the way he always does, and looks out at his village. The rooftops of Mistwood are dark and shining with rain. Chimney smoke rises here and there, soft gray against a soft gray sky. Down the lane, a window glows amber, and then another. The villagers are settling in for the night. Kettles are going on. Fires are being fed. Somewhere, faintly, a door closes, and then the village is quiet again. Just the rain. Just the soft, steady rain on the slate roofs and the cobblestones. And the rain went on falling, soft and slow, as it always did in Mistwood. Tomas steps out and closes his door gently behind him. His boots find the wet cobblestones, and he begins to walk. Slow steps, even steps. There is a rhythm to the way Tomas walks, a rhythm as old as his rounds. Step and step and step. The rain taps softly on his shoulders and his hat. The oil can swings gently at his side, creaking just a little, in time with his steps. Every evening for 40 years, Tomas has walked these same streets. Every evening he has lit the same lanterns, one by one, until the whole village glows softly in the dark. He knows every stone of every lane. He knows which puddles gather where. He knows the cat in the miller's window, and the smell of the bakery at closing time, and the sound the church bell makes when the air is full of rain, rounder somehow, softer, like the bell is half asleep itself. There are 21 lanterns in Mistwood. Tomas knows each one like an old friend. The first lantern stands at the end of his own small lane, where the lane meets Miller's Lane. It is an iron lantern on an iron post, taller than Tomas, with little panes of glass and a small door on the side. He can see it ahead of him now through the rain, dark and patient, waiting for him. It has waited for him every evening for 40 years. Tomas walks toward it, step and step and step. The rain falls, the gutters murmur. Far away the river moves under the old stone bridge, slow and dark and full. He reaches the first lantern and he stops. And here is the small ritual, the one he performs 21 times each night, the one his father performed before him. He sets down the oil can. He opens the little glass door gently, so the hinge barely whispers. He trims the wick with his rough, careful fingers. He tops the oil just a little, listening to the quiet pour. Then he takes out a match and strikes it, and cups the small flame from the rain. And he touches the flame to the wick. There is a soft hiss, and then the light blooms. Warm and amber and round, it fills the little glass house, and spills out gently onto the wet cobblestones, and the rain falling through the lamplight turns to threads of gold. Tomas closes the glass door. He wipes the panes once with his cloth. He picks up his oil can. 1 lantern lit, 20 to go, and the whole slow, gentle evening ahead of him. He looks at the flame for a moment longer, the way he always does. It flickers softly inside the glass, steady and small and sure. There is something about a lantern in the rain, Tomas thinks. Something that makes the night feel kind. And maybe you can see it too, from wherever you are resting. The amber glow, the golden threads of rain, the old man in his gray wool coat standing in the circle of light, in no hurry at all. You don't need to follow him closely tonight. He knows the way. He has always known the way. You can simply walk beside him, slow step after slow step, or you can drift and let his footsteps fade in and out like the rain. The village is settling. The windows are glowing, the kettles are singing softly behind the shutters, and the fires are warm in their hearths. Tomas turns up Miller's Lane, where the next lantern is waiting, dark and patient in the rain. Step and step and step. The rain taps on the slate roofs. The gutters murmur. Somewhere far off, the church bell shifts in its tower, getting ready to ring the 9th hour, the soft, round, sleepy ring it keeps for rainy nights. There is no hurry. There is never any hurry in Mistwood, and the rain went on falling, soft and slow, as it always did in Mistwood. Miller's Lane is the oldest street in Mistwood. It runs gently uphill from the river, curving like a sleepy cat, and the cobblestones here are the most worn in the whole village, smoothed by hundreds of years of slow footsteps. Tonight they shine with rain, every stone holding a little of the lamplight that Tomas leaves behind him. He walks up the lane, slow step after slow step, The oil can creaks softly at his side. The rain taps on the brim of his hat. Step, and step, and step. On his left, the houses lean close together, old friends sharing a roofline. Their shutters are drawn, and behind the shutters, soft light glows in thin, golden lines. Tomas can hear, faintly, the small evening sounds of the village. A chair scraping gently across a floor, a kettle beginning its low song. Somewhere, a mother humming, the tune too soft to name. The village is settling. The village is always settling, at this hour, in this rain. And the rain went on falling, soft and slow, as it always did in Mistwood. Halfway up the lane stands the second lantern. It waits outside the bakery, dark and patient on its iron post, and Tomas smiles when he sees it, because the bakery is one of his favorite stops on the whole round. The bakery is closed now. The sign in the window has been turned, but the ovens were going all afternoon, and the warmth of them still breathes out into the evening, soft as a sigh. The whole corner of the lane smells of bread, warm crust and flour and a little honey, all mixed with the cool, clean smell of the rain. Tomas stops at the lantern and sets down his oil can. Through the bakery window, in the dimness, he can see the last loaves cooling on their wooden racks. Round loaves and long loaves, lined up like sleepy hills. The baker leaves them there to cool overnight, every night. And every night Tomas looks at them through the glass, and every night they look the same. Quiet, golden, done with their work. He opens the little glass door of the lantern gently, so the hinge barely whispers. He trims the wick with his careful fingers. He tops the oil, listening to the quiet pour. He strikes a match, cups the flame from the rain, and touches it to the wick. A soft hiss, and the light blooms. Warm and amber and round, it fills the little glass house and spills across the wet cobblestones and reaches through the bakery window to rest, very gently, on the cooling loaves. Tomas closes the glass door. He wipes the panes once with his cloth in slow circles. He picks up his oil can. 2 lanterns lit, 19 to go, and no hurry at all. He stands a moment longer in the bread-warm air, the way he always does. The rain falls through the lamplight in threads of gold. Behind him, down the hill, the first lantern glows at the corner of his own small lane, and ahead of him, up the hill, the lane curves away into the soft gray dark, waiting to be lit. This is how the village wakes into night, Tomas thinks, one small light at a time. He walks on, step and step and step. The lane climbs gently, and Tomas climbs gently with it, in no hurry, breathing the rain-washed air. His boots know every stone. There is the dip where the puddle always gathers, wide and silver, holding a wobbling picture of the rooftops. There is the worn step outside the cooper's door. There is the old mounting stone by the miller's gate that no one has used for 100 years and that no one would ever dream of moving. And there, in the miller's window, is the cat. The miller's cat is large and grey and very old, and it sits in the same window every evening, on a folded blanket the miller's wife keeps there just for him. He watches the lane, the way cats watch things, slowly, completely, blinking long, unhurried blinks. Tomas stops, the way he always does. "Good evening," he says softly through the rain. The cat looks at him for a long moment. Then it blinks once, slow and deep, which is how cats say good evening, and everything is as it should be, and you may carry on. Tomas carries on. The third lantern stands at the top of the lane, where Miller's Lane meets the wider road that leads to the bridge. It is a little crooked, this one, leaning just slightly, like an old man listening to a story. It has leaned that way for as long as Tomas can remember. His father used to pat it, twice, the way you'd pat a horse. And Tomas pats it too, twice, every night, the way he always does. Then the small ritual once more. The glass door opened gently, the wick trimmed, the oil topped with its quiet pour. The match struck and cupped against the rain. A soft hiss, and the light blooms. 3 lanterns lit now in a slow golden line down the curve of Miller's Lane. Tomas looks back at them the way he always does. From here he can see the bakery light resting on its loaves, and the miller's window with its cat, and the rain falling through each circle of lamplight, gold thread after gold thread after gold thread. The village is settling deeper. The lights behind the shutters are softening one by one. Mistwood is growing sleepy, and the night is growing kind. And then, from the tower above the rooftops, the church bell begins to ring. 9 o'clock. The bell rings slowly, the way it always does on rainy nights. The wet air makes the sound rounder, softer, like the bell is ringing under a blanket. 1, and 2, and 3. Each note rolls gently down over the slate roofs, down the shining lanes, across the slow, dark river, and out into the misty fields beyond. Tomas stands by his crooked lantern and listens, the way he always does. 4, and 5, and 6. There is no sound in the world, he thinks, quite like a bell in the rain. It doesn't ask anything of you. It only tells you, gently, that the evening is going just as it should, that the loaves are cooling, that the cat is in the window, that the lanterns are being lit, one by someone who knows the way. 7, and 8, and 9. And then the bell is quiet, and the rain goes on, soft and steady, filling up the silence the bell leaves behind. 9 o'clock in Mistwood, the hour when the last doors close, the hour when the fires are banked and the lamps indoors are turned down low, the hour when children are already asleep and the rain on the roof is the only story they need. Maybe it's that hour where you are too, or maybe it's later still. Either way, there is nothing that needs doing. The village is taken care of. The night is taken care of. Old Tomas will light every lantern all the way to the harbour and back, whether you stay with him or drift away. He picks up his oil can and turns toward the river road, where the old stone bridge waits in the rain with a lantern at each end. Step, and step, and step. The gutters murmur, the puddles shine. The third lantern leans kindly over the lane behind him, keeping its light on the cobblestones. And the rain went on falling, soft and slow, as it always did in Mistwood. The river road slopes gently down from Miller's Lane, and Tomas follows it, slow step after slow step, with the rain on his shoulders and the lamplight behind him. Step, and step, and step. He can hear the river before he sees it. He always can. It is a low, wide, patient sound, deeper than the rain, older than the village, the sound of water that has been moving past Mistwood for longer than anyone can remember, and will go on moving long after, and is in no hurry about any of it. The road curves, and there it is, the old stone bridge. It is a humble bridge, low and broad, made of the same grey stone as the houses. 3 arches stand in the dark water, and the river slides through them, smooth and slow. Moss grows along the parapets. Rain shines on every stone. And at each end of the bridge, on its own iron post, a lantern waits in the dark. 2 lanterns tonight for the bridge, the 4th and the 5th of his round. Tomas walks to the near one and sets down his oil can. And here is the small ritual once again. You know it by now, the way Tomas knows it. The little glass door opened gently, so the hinge barely whispers. The wick trimmed with rough, careful fingers. The oil topped up with its quiet, comfortable pour. The match struck and cupped against the rain, a soft hiss, and the light blooms, warm and amber and round. The fourth lantern of the evening. Its glow spreads across the wet stones of the bridge and slips over the parapet and lays a long, trembling ribbon of gold on the dark water below. Tomas closes the glass door. He wipes the panes once in slow circles. He picks up his oil can. 4 lanterns lit. 17 to go. And the river sliding slowly under the rain. He walks out onto the bridge to the middle where the stone is most worn. And there he stops the way he always does, every night, in every weather, because some things must be done properly, and watching the river from the middle of the bridge is one of them. He rests the oil can on the parapet. He folds his hands, and he watches the water. The river is dark and full tonight, moving without a single sound of effort. The rain falls onto it, drop after drop after drop, and every drop makes a small silver ring, and every ring widens and softens and is carried away downstream. There are hundreds of rings, thousands. They appear and widen and fade, appear and widen and fade, over and over and over, and no two are the same, and all of them are the same, and the river carries every one of them gently away into the dark. Tomas watches them go. This is the river's work, he thinks. It carries things away. It is carried away every day this village has ever had. All the noise of the mornings, all the bustle of the markets, every worry that anyone in Mistwood has ever brought to this parapet and leaned upon. The river has taken each one, smoothly, quietly, without being asked, and carried it down past the mill and past the willows and out beyond the harbour, away into the night. And it can carry yours too, if you like. You don't have to give it anything. But if there is something you've been holding, a thought from the day, a small heaviness, anything at all, you can set it down on the water the way you'd set a leaf. You don't even have to watch it go. The river knows its work. It will take it gently downstream, past the sleeping boats, out into the dark fields, away and away and away. The rain falls. The rings widen and fade. The river slides on, and the rain went on falling, soft and slow, as it always did in Mistwood. Under the far arch, in the deep shadow, a heron is standing asleep on one leg. Tomas knows it is there, though he cannot see it tonight. The heron sleeps under the bridge on rainy nights, every rainy night, in the dry dark by the third arch, with its long neck folded and its feathers loose. The river slides past its thin grey legs, and the heron does not stir. It has never once stirred. It trusts the river completely, the way only river creatures can. Tomas tips his hat to the shadow under the arch, just in case. Then he takes up his oil can and walks on across the bridge, slow step after slow step, to where the 5th lantern waits on the far bank. Step and step and step. The bridge stones are smooth and old beneath his boots. Halfway along there is a place where the parapet dips, worn by hundreds of years of resting elbows, and Tomas trails his hand along it as he passes, the way he always does. The stone is cold and wet and kind. At the far end, the 5th lantern stands waiting, dark and patient. This one is the oldest lantern in Mistwood, older even than Tomas's father's time. Its iron is pitted and soft-edged, and its glass panes are thick and slightly green, like river water held still. When it is lit, its light is the warmest of all the lanterns, a deep, old gold, the color of honey in a jar on a kitchen shelf. Tomas sets down his oil can. The little glass door opened gently, the wick trimmed, the oil with its quiet pour, the match cupped against the rain. A soft hiss, and the light blooms, deep, old gold. It spills across the end of the bridge and reaches back along the wet parapets, and the two bridge lanterns shine toward each other through the rain, one at each end, like two old friends at either end of a long table, content to sit in silence. 5 lanterns lit, 16 to go. Tomas stands a moment between the river and the light. Behind him, across the bridge, the village glows softly up the hill. The crooked lantern, the bakery, the first lamp at the end of his own small lane. Before him, the road bends along the far bank toward Chandler's Row, where the candle-maker's windows will be breathing their beeswax warmth into the rain. Below him, the river slides on, carrying the day away, ring after silver ring. There is no hurry. There is never any hurry in Mistwood. The rain taps on his hat, soft and steady. The gutters murmur. The heron sleeps in the dry dock under the 3rd arch, one-legged and certain, and the water moves past it forever. And maybe, where you are, you can hear something like that river too. Not with your ears, perhaps, just the feeling of it. Something wide and slow and patient, moving gently in the dark, carrying everything away that you are done with. You can rest on it, like the heron. It will hold you. It has held the whole village all these years. Tomas picks up his oil can and turns along the river road. Step and step and step. The 5th lantern glows behind him, deep, old gold on the dark water. And the rain went on falling, soft and slow, as it always did in Mistwood. Chandler's Row runs along the far bank of the river, a narrow street of small shops, all of them closed now, all of them sleeping behind their shutters in the rain. Tomas walks it slowly, the way he always does, step and step and step. The shop signs hang still and wet above the doors. The cobbler sign, shaped like a boot. The weaver's sign, shaped like a shuttle. The little tea-shop's sign, shaped like a kettle, with a painted curl of steam that has been fading gently for 30 years, and is somehow always there. Rain gathers along the bottoms of the signs and drips slowly, drop by drop, onto the shining stones below. Drip and drip and drip. And halfway along the row, where the street is narrowest and the eaves lean closest, there is the candlemaker's shop. Tomas smells it before he reaches it. He always does. Beeswax, warm and golden and sweet, breathing out through the shutters into the cool rain. The candlemaker dips her candles all afternoon, rows and rows of them, and hangs them in pairs on long wooden racks to cool. And all evening the shop breathes out that warm honey smell, like a hive dreaming. The 6th lantern stands just outside her door. Tomas sets down his oil can in the sweet, warm air. The little glass door opened gently, so the hinge barely whispers. The wick trimmed, the oil topped with its quiet pour. The match struck and cupped against the rain. A soft hiss, and the light blooms, warm and amber and round. The glow falls across the candlemaker's window, and inside, dimly, Tomas can see them. The candles, hanging in their patient pairs, pale gold, perfectly still. Hundreds of small lights waiting quietly to be lit on other evenings, in other rooms, all over the village. A shop full of sleeping flames, Tomas thinks. That is what a candle shop is at night. He closes the glass door. He wipes the panes, once in slow circles. He picks up his oil can. 6 lanterns lit, 15 to go, and no hurry at all. He walks on down the row. The rain has settled into its deepest rhythm now, the one it keeps for the middle of the evening. Steady, unhurried, sure of itself. It taps on the shop signs. It murmurs in the gutters. It softens every edge of every roof, until the whole street looks like a memory of itself, gentle and gray and gold. The 7th lantern stands by the well at the middle of the row, where the street widens just enough for 2 carts to pass, though no carts come this way anymore. The well is covered for the night, its bucket hung neatly on its hook. Everything in Mistwood is put away, each thing in its place, each place well known. Tomas sets down his oil can. The glass door, the wick, the quiet pour of the oil, the match cupped from the rain, a soft hiss, and the light blooms. 7 lanterns lit, 14 to go. And as he closes the little glass door, he hears, across the street, the sound of another door opening. A house door, warm light spilling out around its edges, and a voice, low and friendly, calling through the rain. "Evening, Tomas." It is Mrs. Hale, the weaver's wife, in her shawl, setting out a bowl of milk for the street cats under the shelter of her doorstep, the way she does every night. The cats of Chandler's Row know her step the way the village knows the bell. "Evening, Annie," says Tomas, touching his hat. "Wet one again," she says comfortably. She says it the way you say a thing that pleases you. "It is," says Tomas. "Soft, though." "Soft," she agrees. "Good night for sleeping." "It is that," says Tomas. "It is that. And that is all. That is the whole conversation, the same conversation they have had for 20 years, give or take a word, and neither of them would change it for anything." Mrs. Hale sets down her bowl and gathers her shawl and says, "Good night, Tomas." And Tomas says, "Good night, Annie," and her door closes gently, and the warm light narrows to a thread and is gone behind the shutters. The street is quiet again, just the rain, just the lamplight. Somewhere under a doorstep, a cat is already lapping milk in the dock, unseen and content. And the rain went on falling, soft and slow, as it always did in Mistwood. Tomas walks on, down the last stretch of Chandler's Row, where the street begins to rise toward the church square. His boots are wet, and his coat is heavy with rain. But the coat is good wool, and the boots are good leather, and inside them he is warm. The particular warmth of a person who is outside in the rain and dressed exactly right for it. There are few warmths better than that one. Perhaps the warmth of blankets, when you can hear the rain but cannot feel it. Perhaps that one is better. You would know where you are. The 8th lantern stands at the end of the row, at the foot of the church hill. It is a tall one, taller than the rest, because the corner it keeps is dark, with the high wall of the churchyard above it. Thomas's father used to call it the sentry. 40 years on, Thomas still calls it that, quietly in his own head. He sets down his oil can before the sentry. The little glass door opened gently, the wick trimmed with careful fingers, the oil with its quiet, comfortable pour, the match struck and cupped against the rain, a soft hiss, and the light blooms, warm and amber and round, high on its tall post, and the sentry takes up its watch over the corner, the way it has every night for longer than anyone living can remember. 8 lanterns lit, 13 to go. Thomas looks back down Chandler's row, the way he always does. 3 new lights glow along the narrow street, gold blooming in the gray. The shop signs glisten. The candle shop breathes its honey warmth into the night. Behind one dark doorstep, a small cat finishes its milk and folds itself into a warm corner and begins, very quietly, to purr. The whole row is settling. The whole village is settling. Every street he has walked tonight is glowing softly behind him, and every street ahead is waiting, patient and dark, knowing he will come. He always comes. He has always come. There is no hurry. There is never any hurry in Mistwood. Above him, up the hill, the church tower stands against the soft gray sky, and the bell rests in its high, dark room, gathering its slow, bronze thoughts, getting ready, soon, to ring the 10th hour. Thomas picks up his oil can and begins to climb the hill, slow step after slow step, step and step and step. The rain taps on his hat, the gutters murmur. The sentry glows behind him, keeping its corner. And the rain went on falling, soft and slow, as it always did in Mistwood. The church square sits at the top of the hill, at the very heart of Mistwood, wide and quiet under the rain. Tomas arrives slowly, the way he always does, breathing a little deeper from the climb, in no hurry to breathe any faster. He stops at the edge of the square and looks across it, the way he always does. The square is paved with broad old flagstones, each one shining. In the middle stands the market cross, hooded with moss, and over it all rises the church, gray and patient, its tower holding the sleeping bell high above the rooftops, and its narrow windows dark, except for one small lamp far inside that is never put out. 4 lanterns keep the square, one at each corner, the 9th, the 10th, the 11th, and the 12th of his round. Tomas walks to the first corner, step and step and step. And here is the small ritual, which by now is not only his, but yours. The little glass door opened gently so the hinge barely whispers, the wick trimmed, the oil topped with its quiet pour, the match struck and cupped against the rain, a soft hiss, and the light blooms. 9 lanterns lit, 12 to go. He crosses the square to the second corner, past the market cross, his boots quiet and the broad stones. On market days, this square is full. Stalls and awnings, baskets and bargaining, the whole bright noise of the village. But that is for daytime, and daytime is far away now, on the other side of sleep. Tonight, The square remembers the market the way you remember a pleasant afternoon as you drift off, warmly, vaguely, without needing any of the details. The second corner, the glass door, the wick, the quiet pour, the match cupped against the rain, a soft hiss, and the light blooms. 10 lanterns lit. 11 to go. High above, in the eaves of the church, the pigeons are asleep. Tomas cannot see them, but he knows them, the way he knows everything on his round. They tuck themselves along the warm stone ledges under the tower, feathers fluffed against the damp, heads folded away under wings. Now and then one of them murmurs in its sleep, a low, bird, contented sound, like a thought too comfortable to finish. The whole village is like that now, Tomas thinks, too comfortable to finish its thoughts. He crosses to the third corner, slow step after slow step, the rain falling soft and silver through the light of the 2 lanterns already burning. The third corner, the glass door gently, the wick, the oil, the match, a soft hiss, and the light blooms. 11 lanterns lit. 10 to go. And as Tomas straightens up and wipes the panes in his slow circles, the tower above him begins to stir. There is a soft bronze shifting high in the dark, the sound of the bell gathering itself, like a sleeper turning under blankets. Tomas takes out his pocket watch, an old silver one, his father's, and doesn't really look at it. He knows what it says. 10 o'clock. The bell rings. Up here in the square, the sound is all around him. Not loud, never loud on a rainy night, but full, round and slow and golden, each note blooming over the square like the lantern light blooms inside the glass. 1. And the note rolls out over the wet flagstones. 2. And it slips down the hill, along Chandler's Row, where the candles hang sleeping in their pairs. 3. And it crosses the old stone bridge over the dark river, where the heron does not stir. 4. And it drifts up Miller's Lane, past the bakery, past the loaves cooling in their dim window. 5. And the miller's cat opens one eye and closes it again. 6. And in the houses all around, the lamps are turned down low, and the fires are settling into their embers. 7. And somewhere a child, already asleep, hears the bell only as something warm in a dream. 8. And the rain and the bell are one sound now, woven together, gold thread and silver thread. 9. And the note hangs a long time in the wet air, fading so slowly that no one could say when it ends. 10. And the bell is quiet, and the square is quiet, and the rain goes on, soft and steady, filling up the silence the bell leaves behind, the way it always does. 10 o'clock in Mistwood, the deep middle of the evening, half the lanterns lit, and half the round still ahead, and all of it known, and none of it hurried. And the rain went on falling, soft and slow, as it always did in Mistwood. Tomas stands a while by the third lantern, listening to the quiet. Then he crosses the square one last time to the fourth corner, where the last lantern of the square waits beside the churchyard gate. Step, and step, and step. The fourth corner, the little glass door, opened gently, the wick trimmed with rough, careful fingers, the oil with its quiet, comfortable pour, the match struck and cupped against the rain, a soft hiss, and the light blooms. 12 lanterns lit, 9 to go, and now the square is finished, glowing softly at all four corners, the market cross standing mossy and content in the middle, the rain falling through 4 circles of gold. Tomas turns slowly where he stands, looking at each corner in turn, the way he always does. Corner and corner and corner and corner. All lit, all well. Half his round is done. If you are still awake, you have walked a long way with him tonight. Down Miller's Lane, over the bridge, along Chandler's Row, up the hill to the square. And if you are not awake, that is just as good. Better, even. Tomas will finish the round either way. That is the whole point of a lantern keeper. The lamps get lit whether anyone watches or not. The night is taken care of, whether anyone knows it or not. You are allowed to be taken care of like that, too. Tomas picks up his oil can. Ahead, on the far side of the square, a small road slips away between the houses, out toward the edge of the village, where the orchard sleeps in its rows, and the schoolhouse rests in the dock. The orchard path, the quietest part of the round. He walks toward it, slow step after slow step. Step and step and step. Behind him, the 4 lanterns of the square keep their corners. The pigeons murmur in the eaves. The small lamp inside the church burns on, the one that is never put out. And the rain went on falling, soft and slow, as it always did in Mistwood. The orchard path is the quietest part of the round. It leaves the square between 2 houses, narrow as a hallway, and then the village opens out, and the path runs along the edge of the orchard, under the dripping apple trees, toward the old schoolhouse and the fields beyond. Tomas walks it slowly, step and step and step. Out here, the rain sounds different. In the village, rain falls on slate and stone and taps and rings. Out here it falls on leaves and grass and deep, soft earth. It is a rounder sound, a darker, gentler sound. The sound of rain being absorbed, drop by drop, into things that have been thirsty all day and are thirsty no longer. The apple trees stand in their long rows, old and crooked and patient. Their leaves are heavy with water. Every branch drips. Drip and drip and drip. Each tree makes its own small rain beneath the rain, a slower rain, falling from leaf to grass. Tomas knows these trees. He scrumped apples from them as a boy, 70 years ago, when the trees were younger, and so was everything. Now he walks beneath them at night, and they drip on his hat, and he lets them. The 13th lantern stands where the path bends, at the corner of the orchard wall. Tomas sets down his oil can. The little glass door opened gently, the wick trimmed, the oil with its quiet pour, the match cupped against the rain, a soft hiss, and the light blooms. 13 lanterns lit, 8 to go. The lamplight reaches into the first rows of the orchard. The wet trunks shine. The leaves glitter softly, gold-edged in the dark. An apple somewhere lets go of its branch, too ripe, too heavy, too full of summer, and falls into the deep grass with the softest possible sound. Woomph. And the orchard is still again. Tomas smiles. He picks up his oil can. He walks on. Step and step and step. The path runs straight now, along the wall, and Tomas lets his thoughts run slow and straight beside it. He thinks about nothing much. The rain, the oil can creaking its small creak, the good weight of his coat. At his age, he has learned the trick of thinking about nothing much, which is a better trick than it sounds, and takes most people a lifetime. You might practice it now, if you like. Think about the rain, just the rain, falling on the orchard, falling on the leaves, falling on the deep, soft earth, drop after drop after drop, all night long, asking for nothing. That is enough to think about. That is plenty. And the rain went on falling, soft and slow, as it always did in Mistwood. At the end of the orchard wall stands the schoolhouse. It is a small building, one room, with a little porch and a little bell of its own on the roof, a quick, bright, tin-voiced bell, nothing like the great bronze sleeper in the church tower. All day the schoolhouse is full of noise, chalk and benches, recitations, laughter at the wrong moments, the scrape and clatter of children being children. But that was hours ago. Now the schoolhouse is dark, and it rests. The benches sit in their rows like the apple trees. The slates are wiped clean. The chalk lies in its tray. On the teacher's desk there is a jar with 3 feathers in it, and a smooth gray stone. Treasures brought in small fists, kept where everyone can see them. The schoolhouse holds it all in the dark, quietly, the way a toy box holds toys. Even the rooms where the days are loudest must sleep, Tomas thinks, especially those. The 14th lantern stands by the schoolhouse gate. Tomas sets down his oil can. The little glass door, the wick, the quiet pour of the oil, the match struck and cupped against the rain, a soft hiss, and the light blooms. 14 lanterns lit, 7 to go. The light falls warm on the schoolhouse porch, on the worn doorstep, on the little tin bell asleep on the roof with rain dripping from its lip. Tomas wipes the lantern's panes once in slow circles and stands a moment the way he always does. From here he can see a long way. Behind him the orchard, row after dripping row, and beyond it the glow of the square, soft above the rooftops. Before him the path slopes away toward the lower village, where the Willow Stairs lead down beside the stream, and past that, far off, the harbour, where the boats are sleeping at their moorings. And around it all the fields, wide and dark and quiet, breathing in the rain. The whole valley settling, the whole night settling. Tomas breathes it in slow, breathes it out slower. You could do that too. Breathe in slow, the cool air, the rain, the orchard. Breathe out slower, the day, the noise, whatever is left of it. Let the breath be like the river. Let it carry things away, in and out, in and out. There is no hurry. There is never any hurry in Mistwood. Tomas picks up his oil can. The handle creaks its small creak. He pats the schoolhouse gate once, for no reason except that he always has, and he begins to walk again, down the sloping path, slow step after slow step, step and step and step. The rain falls on the orchard behind him, drip and drip and drip, from leaf to grass. Another apple lets go somewhere in the dark rows, whoomph, into the deep grass, and the orchard keeps it for the morning. The morning is far away. The morning is on the other side of a long, soft night, and the night has only just begun to deepen, and everything between now and then is rest. The path narrows, the hedges rise on either side, dark and wet and fragrant. Ahead, faintly, Tomas can hear the stream that runs down to meet the river, a lighter sound than the river, quicker, younger, a sound like a long, quiet conversation about nothing much. The Willow Stairs are near. 14 lanterns glow behind him, all across the village, each one keeping its own small circle of the night. 7 wait ahead, dark and patient. They know he is coming. He always comes. And the rain went on falling, soft and slow, as it always did in Mistwood. The Willow Stairs are old stone steps, broad and shallow, that lead down beside the stream to the lower lanes of the village. There are 42 steps. Tomas has counted them all his life. Children count them still, out loud, every generation, as though the number might have changed. It never changes. 42 under the willows, going down. Tomas starts down them, slow step after slow step, step and step and step. The willows lean over the stairs from both sides, long branches trailing, leaves dripping. They make a kind of green roof over the steps, so the rain reaches Tomas only softly here, broken into mist and slow, heavy drops. The stream runs down beside the stairs in its stone channel, talking its light, quick talk, hurrying the way young water hurries, down to the river that will teach it to be slow. The 15th lantern stands at the top of the stairs, under the first willow. Tomas sets down his oil can. And the ritual once more. You could do it yourself by now, in the dark, with your eyes closed. Perhaps your eyes are closed. The little glass door opened gently, the wick trimmed, the oil with its quiet pour, the match cupped against the rain, a soft hiss, and the light blooms. 15 lanterns lit, 6 to go. And beneath the lantern, in the wet stone of the steps, a puddle has gathered, and the puddle catches the light and holds it. A small gold pool inside a small silver pool. Rain falls into it, drop by drop, and the gold trembles and steadies, and trembles and steadies. Tomas watches it a moment, the way he always does. Every lantern he lights tonight is lit twice, he thinks, once in the glass and once in the rain. He picks up his oil can. He goes on down the stairs, one slow step at a time, his hand trailing along the cool, wet stone of the wall. Step and step and step. The willows drip. The stream talks. The mist drifts slow between the branches. Halfway down, the stairs turn and widen into a small landing, and there the 16th lantern waits, dark and patient, where it has waited every evening for 40 years. Tomas sets down his oil can, the little glass door gently, the wick, the quiet pour, the match, a soft hiss, and the light blooms. 16 lanterns lit, 5 to go. And again beneath it, a puddle takes the light and holds it, gold inside silver, trembling and steadying, trembling and steadying, as the rain falls drop by drop by drop. 2 lanterns burning on the stairs now, one above, one below, and their reflections burning with them, and the wet steps glowing faintly all the way between, and the willow leaves hanging gold-edged in the dark. It is, Tomas thinks, the prettiest part of the round. He thinks this every night here on the landing. Every night he is right. He goes on down. The steps pass slowly under his boots. 11 more. 10. 9. He does not count them, but his feet do, the way feet count familiar stairs, the way your feet know your own stairs at home in the dark, and carry you, and never once ask for thanks. 8. 7. 6. The stream slips down its channel beside him, step for step. 5. 4. 3. The willows thin. The lower village opens ahead, soft grey roofs, and 1 or 2 last amber windows. Nearly all the shutters dark now. 2. 1. And the stairs are done, and Tomas stands at the bottom, in the lower lane, by the little stone basin where the stream pours out and pools before it runs on to the river. The 17th lantern stands over the basin, the last of the willow lanterns. He sets down his oil can. The little glass door, opened gently, so the hinge barely whispers. The wick trimmed with rough, careful fingers. The oil topped with its quiet, comfortable pour. The match struck and cupped against the rain. A soft hiss, and the light blooms. 17 lanterns lit. 4 to go. The basin catches this light too, and holds it, gold on its dark, trembling water, and the stream pours through the glow and carries little ribbons of it away down the lane, the way the river carried the somber rings, the way the night carries everything, gently, downstream, away. And the rain went on falling, soft and slow, as it always did in Mistwood. Tomas rests here a moment, on the low stone lip of the basin, the way he always does. His knees are glad of it. The rain patters on the willows above and behind him, and on the roofs ahead of him, and into the basin beside him, each surface with its own soft voice, all of them saying the same thing, which is nothing, which is everything, which is hush. 4 lanterns left now, 3 down at the harbour, where the boats sleep at their moorings. And then the last one, the 21st, the one that waits by the old well at the mouth of his own small lane, the one he always lights last, the one that means home. But not yet. There is no hurry. Listen. The stream, talking its small talk into the basin. The rain in the willow leaves. Far off the river, wide and dark and slow. Water above you, and water beside you, and water far away. All of it moving gently in the dark. All of it taken care of. All of it taking care. You are somewhere warm and dry, hearing it. That is the best place to hear rain from. The very best place there is. Tomas rises slowly, his hand on the cool stone. He takes up his oil can. The handle creaks its small creak, like a word in a language only the two of them speak. He turns down the lower lane, toward the smell of tar and rope and cold, fresh water, toward the harbour, where the last working lamps of Mistwood wait for him in the mist. Step, and step, and step. Behind him, the willow stairs glow softly, 3 lanterns and 3 reflections, gold inside silver, all the way up into the green dark. And the rain went on falling, soft and slow, as it always did in Mistwood. The harbour of Mistwood is a small one. A stone quay, a wooden jetty, a dozen boats at their moorings. The river widens here, on its way to the distant sea, and the village keeps its boats in the calm of the bend, rowboats and fishing smacks, a flat barge for the mill, all of them old, all of them sound, all of them asleep. Tomas comes down the lower lane to the quay, slow step after slow step, and the fog meets him there. The fog comes off the water on rainy nights, soft and white and slow. It drifts along the quay. It curls around the mooring posts. It softens the boats to gentle shapes, and the far bank to a guess, and the night to something even kinder than it was. Tomas walks into it unhurried. He knows the keystones the way he knows his own floorboards. Step and step and step. The water laps against the hulls. Lap and lap and lap. The smallest sound water makes. The sound of water doing almost nothing at all. The boats nod where they lie, slower than breathing. Their mooring ropes creak now and then softly, like sleepers shifting. The 18th lantern stands at the head of the quay. Tomas sets down his oil can. The little glass door opened gently, the wick trimmed, the oil with its quiet pour, the match cupped against the rain, a soft hiss, and the light blooms. 18 lanterns lit, 3 to go. The glow spreads into the fog, and the fog takes it and holds it, the way the puddles held it on the Willow Stairs, a soft gold cloud around a small gold heart. Lantern light in fog is the gentlest light there is, Tomas thinks. Light with all its edges taken away. He walks on along the quay, past the sleeping boats. He knows each one. The Annie Mae, the Weaver's Brothers boat, named for Mrs. Hale herself. The 2 brothers, whose 2 brothers were the grandfathers of the men who sail her now. The Swift, which is the slowest boat in Mistwood, and is loved for it. They lie dark on the dark water, nodding, nodding, rain pattering soft on their decks and their folded nets. Boats are good sleepers, Tomas thinks. They sleep the way they float, trusting the water completely. The 19th lantern stands halfway along by the jetty, the little glass door, the wick, the quiet pour, the match cupped against the rain, a soft hiss, and the light blooms. 19 lanterns lit, 2 to go. And out of the fog above him, softly, comes the voice of the church bell. 11 o'clock. It is far away now, up on its hill, across the whole sleeping village, and the fog and the rain carry the sound down to the harbour gently, taking all its edges away, the way the fog takes the edges from the light. 1, and the note drifts down over the wet roofs. 2, and it settles into the fog like a stone into deep moss. 3, and the boats nod at their moorings. 4, and the water laps and laps. 5, and somewhere beneath a folded sail, a harbour cat curls tighter. 6, and the note is hardly a sound anymore, more a warmth in the air. 7, and Tomas stands still on the quay, listening, the way he always does. 8. And the rain falls soft and slow. 9. And the fog drifts, white and patient, through the lamplight. 10. And the whole village, every street of it, every soul of it, is folded in for the night. 11. And the bell is quiet, and the harbour is quiet, and the rain goes on, filling up the silence, the way it always does, the way it always will. 11 o'clock in Mistwood, the deep of the night, the hour that belongs to no one but the rain and the river, and one old man with an oil can finishing his round. And the rain went on falling, soft and slow, as it always did in Mistwood. The 20th lantern stands at the far end of the quay, on the last stone, where the harbour gives way to the dark fields, and the river goes on alone to the sea. It is the loneliest lantern of the round, and so Tomas has always loved it best, though he would not say so to the others. He sets down his oil can on the last stone. The little glass door, opened gently so the hinge barely whispers. The wick trimmed with rough, careful fingers. The oil topped with its quiet, comfortable pour. The match struck and cupped against the rain. A soft hiss, and the light blooms. 20 lanterns lit, 1 to go. Tomas stands beside it at the end of the quay, at the end of the village, and looks out into the fog where the river disappears. Nothing to see out there, only the soft, white dark, and the rain falling into the water, and the faint glow at his shoulder, keeping its small circle warm. This lantern shines for no street and no door, he thinks. It shines for the river, and for anyone far off in the dark who might lift their head and see a light burning at the edge of Mistwood and know the village is there. That is enough work for a light. That is plenty. Perhaps you can see it yourself from wherever you are drifting, the last lamp on the last stone glowing in the fog. You don't need to reach it. You only need to know it is lit. It will burn all night, whether anyone sees it or not. Things can be taken care of like that. People can, too. Tomas picks up his oil can. 1 lantern left now, the 21st. The old well lantern at the mouth of his own small lane on the far side of the sleeping village. The one that means home, and tea, and the fire, and the chair, and the end of the round. He turns back along the quay, through the fog, past the nodding boats, past the Swift and the 2 brothers and the Annie Mae, past the lamplight blooming soft in the white. Step, and step, and step. The water laps. The ropes creak gently. The rain patters on the decks and the folded nets, on the keystones and the brim of his hat. And the rain went on falling, soft and slow, as it always did in Mistwood. And now the round is nearly done, and Tomas walks home the long way, the way he always does, back through the whole of the sleeping village, to see his night's work burning. Up from the harbour, through the fog, slow step after slow step, step, and step, and step. Past the lower lanes, where every shutter is dark now, and every chimney breathes its last soft feather of smoke into the rain. Past the stone basin, where the stream pours its small gold ribbons through the lamplight, and away, Past the Willow Stairs, glowing softly up into the green dock, 3 lanterns and 3 reflections, gold inside silver, trembling and steadying, trembling and steadying. The rain falls, soft and slow. The village sleeps. And Tomas walks, and the lanterns he lit hours ago greet him one by one, each in its own circle of light, each keeping its own small piece of the night. This is the part of the round he does not tell anyone about, because there is nothing to tell. He only walks and looks and is content. 20 lamps burning in the rain, and every one of them lit by his own hand, and not one of them needing anything more from him until tomorrow. A finished day is a good weight, he thinks, like a wet coat that you will soon hang up. He climbs the long way, past the orchard. The trees drip in the dock, drip and drip and drip, from leaf to grass. Somewhere in the deep rose, an apple lets go, whoomph, into the soft grass, and the orchard keeps it for the morning. The schoolhouse rests with its chalk and its feathers and its smooth gray stone. The 14th lantern shines on the porch and the worn doorstep, and the little tin bell asleep on the roof. All well, all well. The rain falls, soft and slow. The village sleeps. Through the church square, where the 4 corners glow, and the market cross stands mossy and patient in the middle, and the pigeons murmur in the warm eaves, too comfortable to finish their thoughts. The small lamp inside the church burns on, the one that is never put out. The great bell rests in its high, dark room, done with its hours until midnight. And midnight will be the softest ring of all, the one that almost no one in Mistwood has ever heard, because by midnight everyone is asleep. Nearly everyone. Step and step and step. Down the hill past the sentry, tall on its corner, keeping its watch. Along Chandler's Row, where the candle shop breathes its honey warmth into the night, and hundreds of small flames sleep in their pairs. And under a dark doorstep, an empty bowl sits licked clean, and a cat is folded somewhere warm, purring to itself in its sleep. All well. All well. The rain falls, soft and slow. The village sleeps. Across the old stone bridge, where the 2 lanterns shine toward each other through the rain, one at each end, old friends at a long table. The river slides beneath, dark and full, carrying its silver rings away into the night, carrying the whole day away, every last hour of it, smoothly, quietly, without being asked. Under the 3rd arch, in the dry dock, the heron stands asleep on one leg, and does not stir, and will not stir, trusting the river completely. Tomas crosses slowly, his hand trailing along the worn dip of the parapet, the way it always does. He does not stop in the middle tonight. The middle of the bridge is for the start of the round. The end of the round is for home. Up Miller's Lane, one last slow climb. The crooked lantern leans over the top of the lane like an old man listening to the end of a story. The miller's window is dark, and the cat is gone from it, curled now in some deep, warm corner of the house, dreaming whatever old cats dream. The bakery window glows faintly with the light of the lantern outside it. and the loaves rest on their racks, round and golden, like sleepy hills done with their work. All well, all well. The rain falls, soft and slow. The village sleeps, and at last Tomas comes to the mouth of his own small lane, where the old well stands under its little peaked roof, and beside the well, dark and patient, waiting for him, the way it has waited every night for 40 years, is the 21st lantern, the last lantern of the round. Tomas sets down his oil can, slowly, and at the small ritual, one final time. Gently now, everything gently now. The little glass door opened so the hinge barely whispers, the wick trimmed with rough, careful fingers, the oil topped up with its quiet, comfortable pour, the last of the can as it always is, as though the can itself knows the round. The match struck soft and cupped against the rain, and he touches the flame to the wick. A soft hiss, and the light blooms, warm and amber and round. 21 lanterns lit, none to go. The whole of Mistwood glowing. Tomas closes the little glass door. He wipes the panes once in slow circles, and he stands beside the well in the rain, an old man in a wet wool coat with an empty oil can in the light of the last lamp, and he looks out over his village the way he always does every night at the end of the round. Lamplight down the lane, lamplight on the bridge, lamplight in the square and along the row and under the willows and away at the harbour where the fog holds it soft. Every street kept, every corner kept, every lamp lit, whether anyone watches or not. The round is done. And if you have drifted off somewhere along the way, on the bridge perhaps, or under the willows, or in the fog at the harbour, then the round was done for you most of all. The lamps will burn till morning. The rain will fall till it is finished. Nothing needs you until you wake. All well, all well. The rain falls, soft and slow. The village sleeps. Tomas picks up the empty oil can, light now, light as the end of any good day's work, and he turns down his own small lane, the last few steps of the night, toward the cottage where the embers are waiting, and the kettle, and the chair. Step, and step, and step. And the rain went on falling, soft and slow, as it always did in Mistwood. The keeper's cottage sits at the end of its small lane, low and stone and old, with a lamp already glowing gently in its window. Tomas lit that lamp before he left, hours ago, the way he always does. A keeper's house should have a light in it, his father used to say, so the keeper has something to come home to. And so, every evening, the last thing before the round and the first thing of the night, the little lamp goes on the sill. It has been waiting there all this time, all through Miller's Lane and the bridge and the row and the square and the orchard and the stairs and the harbour, burning quietly in the empty cottage, keeping the window warm. Tomas comes up the lane toward it, slow step after slow step, step and step and step. The rain taps on his hat one last time. The gutters murmur one last time. He lifts the latch, and the door opens with its old, soft, familiar sound. The sound that means the round is over, and he steps inside, and the night stays gently out. Home. The cottage is dim and warm. The fire he banked before leaving has kept itself, the way a good fire does, sunk down into a bed of embers, deep orange, breathing slow. The room smells of wood smoke and wool, and the faint sweetness of the apples on the shelf. Tomas closes the door behind him. The rain goes quiet. Not gone, never gone, just softened to the sound it makes through walls and windows. The best sound rain makes. The sound it makes when you are no longer out in it. He takes off his hat and hangs it on its hook. He takes off his wet coat, heavy with the whole evening, and hangs it on its peg by the fire, where it will steam itself dry by morning, the way it always does. He sets the empty oil can in its corner, ready for tomorrow. He pulls off his boots, first the left, then the right, the way he always does, and sets them by the hearth, side by side. Two old friends done walking for the day. And then, in his thick socks on the smooth, worn floorboards, Tomas pads to the fire and feeds it one small log, not to wake it, just to keep it company through the night. And he swings the kettle over the embers. And while the kettle warms, he sits down at last in his chair. Oh, the chair! It is an old chair, made by his grandfather, worn into the exact shape of the family that has rested in it. It receives Tomas the way the bed has received you, completely, without conditions, holding every tired part of him at once. He lets out a long, slow breath, the kind a person only breathes at the very end of a day, when every single thing is done. Every single thing is done. 21 lanterns burning in the rain. The whole village lit and sleeping. The bell quiet in its tower. The boats nodding at their moorings. The cat curled deep in the miller's house. The heron one-legged under the dry, dark arch. The loaves cooling. The candles sleeping in their pairs. The river carrying the last of the day away, downstream, into the dark. Gone. Nothing left to do, nothing left to carry, nothing left at all but warmth. The kettle begins its low song. Tomas makes his tea slowly, in the brown pot, in the dim firelight, and carries the cup back to his chair, and holds it, both hands around the warm clay, the way he always does. He doesn't drink it right away. The first part of a cup of tea is for the hands. The embers breathe. The rain falls on the window, soft and slow. Tap, tap, tap. And Tomas sits, and his eyes begin to close, the way eyes do by a fire, after rain, after work, after everything. He thinks, drifting, of the round, not as streets now, just as lights. One light, and then another, blooming one by one in the dark, all through the village, all through the evening, soft and warm and round and amber. One light, and another, and another. Maybe you can see them too as you drift. You don't need to count them. They are all lit. They were all lit hours ago. Every one of them is burning gently in the rain right now, all night till morning, and not one of them needs a single thing from you. The fire settles softly. The tea cools slowly, half finished, the way it always does. It does not mind. Tea by a fire never minds. And the rain goes on falling, on the slate roof above him, on the lane outside, on the orchard and the square and the bridge and the harbour, on the whole sleeping valley, soft and slow, asking for nothing, telling its one long story. The story with no events in it, the kindest story there is. Tomas sleeps. In his chair, by his fire, in his cottage, at the end of his lane, in the middle of his village, old Tomas, the lantern keeper, sleeps, and his lamp glows on in the window, and his lanterns glow on in the rain. And the village sleeps, and the valley sleeps, and the rain falls, soft and slow, soft and slow. The embers breathe out their low orange light, dimmer now and dimmer, like a long exhale. The window holds its small, warm glow against the wet dark. And there is nothing more that happens tonight. There is nothing more that needs to happen, tonight or any night, ever, in Mistwood. The lamps are lit, the doors are latched, the fires are banked. Everyone is home, and everyone is held, and the night goes on being gentle, hour after hour after hour, all the way to a morning that is still far, far away on the other side of all this rest. Sleep now, if you haven't already. The rain will keep falling, soft and slow. The lanterns will keep burning, warm and amber and round. And old Tomas will be there again tomorrow evening, at the edge of evening, with his oil can and his matches and his slow, even steps, lighting the lamps of Mistwood, one by one by one. He always is. He always will be. And the rain went on falling, soft and slow, as it always did, as it always does, in Mistwood. Good night.